All right, guys. So Jon Stewart did a segment here talking about the wildfires in L.A. And, yeah, he seems kind of fed up. He seems kind of fed up with the Republican BS on this. I think the part that's most egregious is they are trying to condition disaster aid. Now, I want you to stop and think about this. Israel has been getting endless money, endless weapons to carpet bomb innocent civilians for over a year now. Zero conditions. Here's the money, here's the weapons, you do what you want. California, a giant state in the United States of America, there's unfortunate and disastrous wildfires there, and Republicans are trying to condition aid. They're trying to say, hey, maybe we'll give you the money, but you have to change policies to what we want them to be. Some people are saying Karen Bass should be forced to step down. Gavin Newsom should be forced to step down if they want to see a penny of aid. Could you imagine, for just a second, if the roles were reversed? Could you imagine if Joe Biden said, after North Carolina got walloped with the rains from the hurricane and Western North Carolina got totally flooded out, could you imagine if Joe Biden said, look, I'd love to give you support, but we need to condition this aid. I need every Republican at the state level to resign. Could you imagine if that happened? By the way, the right screams bloody murder, even based on total bullshit. They pretend like, oh, the Democrats aren't helping us. Really, every time there's a natural disaster, we see unconditional aid given to red states, and the Democrats don't even make a peep about, hey, we need something in exchange for this, because they do the right thing by their fellow Americans when they're struggling. Now, the right will just make stuff up and act like that's not the case, but they're wrong. Meanwhile, Republicans and MAGA, just as loathsome can be, they're like, yeah, we don't want to give you any help. Go fuck yourself. We don't want to give you any help. Yeah, you're a fellow American. Yeah, you just lost everything that you own. Yeah, it's the hardest time in your life. We don't care. This is who they are, guys. This is who they are. Okay, so now in step Jon Stewart, and he's going to go to town.
You want to know how bad it is in California right now? Here's how bad it is.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered to send 150 Ukrainian first responders to help battle the massive wildfires.
We're so f***ed that a country that has been relentlessly bombed for almost 3 years was like, you poor bastards. But it is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, of man's ability across cultural and political and religious lines in times of crisis to appeal to our better angels. As Archbishop Desmond Tutu once said, we are made for goodness and love and compassion. Or, as our own president-elect put it,
Trump shared a meme on Truth Social of fires raging behind the Hollywood sign, which was photoshopped to read, Trump was right.
4 fucking years, y'all. 4 years. We're going to have to deal with this for 4 years. In the midst of a tragedy, in the midst of a natural disaster, you want a steady hand of leadership and strength. That's what you want. Somebody who goes out there, we got this. We're going to get through this. I'm going to lead the way here. We're going to, all the money that's needed, all the rebuilding has to get done. We are going to do this together. And we're all fellow Americans, and we're all going to help each other. That's what people want to hear in the midst of a situation like this. Tweeting, Trump was right. AI-generated image of a fire with the Hollywood sign that looks like it says Trump was right. That's what he's doing. And by the way, just for the record, go watch my segment on this the other day. He wasn't. He wasn't. The stuff he's referring to, by the way, just for those of you who don't know, he's talking about, you need to rake the forests. They had to rake the forest. We warned about this. They needed to rake the forest, and they didn't rake the forest, and Trump was right. Gavin Newsom massively increased forest management. The exact thing that they say, oh, you need to do that in order to avoid this. Bill Burr just did a great thing on this. Maybe we'll cover it, but Bill Burr was like, I love all these like fucking idiots sitting in their mom's basement in their underwear, eating Cheetos that are like, you know, I think this was mismanaged. I'm a bit of a fire expert myself. Like, no, you're not, Dave. You're unemployed. You play Call of Duty all day. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. It turns out, ready? Newsflash. It turns out when there's winds up to 100 miles an hour and a little ember can fly over a mile, it turns out everything gets fucking wiped out, and Mother Nature is just way too powerful for us puny little humans. But everybody's fucking expert from their couch, right? And Why didn't you just rake the forests? You should have just raked the forests. What's your problem? If you had just raked the forests, everything would have been good. He also told countless lies about the water situation in LA. They're taking this moment literally to just be like, Democrats bad, Democrats bad. The guy who mismanaged COVID so severely that over 1 million Americans died would like you to hate Democrats for their failure at crisis management. I can't take 4 fucking years of this. I can't take 4 years of this. He's a bloated fucking prick who's wrong about everything. And in the midst of a tragedy like this where people lost everything, he's out there, Trump was right. He wears a hat now. Did you guys see this? He wears a hat that says, Trump was right about everything. He walks around with a hat that says that. If it was your uncle acting like this, you would have him fucking institutionalized. What, just because he's a celebrity and a former president, everybody pretends like the emperor has clothes? Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd almost forgotten your penchant for casual cruelty and dickfoolery. Flames! Nice touch on the graphics. Surely you won't be content with just trolling those in dire need. Surely you also see this as a merch-opportunity.
The New York Post posted these images of President-elect Donald Trump driving a golf cart wearing a Trump was right about everything hat.
Trump was right about almost everything. I wouldn't say he was right about the outfit choice. Rule of thumb, never dress in the same color scheme as the upholstery of your own vehicle. Unless, wait, perhaps Trump has reached his highest form. Part man, part golf cart. And apparently, all cholesterol. I guess RFK Jr. Stat. Okay. But Trump is going to troll. The problem now is Republicans appear to want to attach their I told you so's as a condition of funding California's disaster relief.
I expect that there will be strings attached to money that is ultimately approved.
I think there should probably be conditions on that, Dave. That's my personal view.
Before we put funds into place, we've got to find out exactly how we're going to hold these leaders accountable and what sort of policy changes are required.
There can't be a blank check on this.
They don't deserve anything, to be honest with you, unless they show us they're going to make some changes.
What the is wrong with you? Really, Senator from Alabama?
Can we just say it at this point? Can we just say it? Conservatism is a mental disorder. It is. It just is. These people seem fundamentally incapable of being decent human beings. I mean, I've tried to avoid this conclusion. I've tried. Lord knows I've tried. But what other conclusion can you come to? Looking at how they act in the midst of a disaster. I would never in a million years, if the good people of Mississippi or Alabama or Texas, fill in the blank with a red state where there's a disaster, would I think of fucking playing politics with their lives? Losing everything they've ever had? No, I don't think you should get a penny of relief because I don't agree with your politics. Like, we are this close. We are this far away from them saying hospitals should be able to reject people based on their politics. So if, like, a socialist gets hurt and they need to go to the emergency room, a hospital should be within their right saying, we don't treat your kind. Right? Because they already would do that with undocumented immigrants, right? They would already say, you're not an American citizen. Get out. Sir, I'm having a heart attack. Don't care. Get out. But I'm stroking out. I don't care. Leave. They've unhumaned you. That's what they've done in these situations.
The state near the bottom in math, reading, and test scores. Next time you get hit by a hurricane, why don't we have a little parent-teacher conference to see that if you got your scores up, you would get the money. Or actually, let's not do it, because you'll get the money anyway, because we're not psychos. That is psychotic. There's something wrong with you.
Jon Stewart, 2028, man. We need you. You're controversial, you're charismatic, you're a celebrity, you have the right politics, you keep the cameras on you, you get people excited. For the love of God, Jon, step up for your country.
And you know what? And here's the thing. I can do the Daily Show thing. I can run down all the congresspeople and senators on the right calling for conditions on disaster aid that absolutely had the opposite view when it was their state on the line.
We need to do everything we can. We have citizens that are literally, they're going to get worse by the day.
Shut the up. Because I can do it, but it doesn't even matter. I'm not even going to do it. Because red states are always the tragic victims of circumstance outside of their control. And Democrats always vote for their aid. Whereas blue state disasters are a function of their flawed morality and policy. And if we help blue state survivors, well, what message will that send? What lesson will they learn?
He's right. He's so right. God, and we have seen this time and time and time again. I remember, what was it, when Hurricane Sandy hit and New York needed disaster relief and you had like Ted Cruz vote against it. But then when the next time Texas got hit with some sort of colossal disaster, he was, of course, begging for federal aid for his state. I mean, these are just loathsome people. They're loathsome people. That's what they are. You're unworthy if you disagree with them. If it's me, help. If it's somebody else, fuck them. They're liberals, they're Democrats, they fuck them. We don't care. Right? It's the same thing. We've seen this too with like government money. If it's a Democrat, if it's a poor person, it's, oh my God, you're immoral, you're unethical, you failed as a human being, so you don't even deserve a social safety net. You don't even deserve like food stamps to make sure your kid can have a hot meal, right? But then you look at a lot of these Republicans who take that stance and they get like hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in like fucking farm subsidies. Like this is who they are. Socialism for me, but not for thee.
What lesson will they learn? But fine, if strings must be attached, what be the strings?
The problem with California is forestry management.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I didn't. It's true. The management of the forest. You have to rake the leaves and shut down the illegal elf tree cookie factory. I understand. And what a great, utterly anodyne suggestion. I mean, what forest couldn't be managed better? I mean, if you've been to a forest lately, chaos. It's chaos. It's the dirt and leaves and what is that? Bear shit, I'm sure. I want to see the manager. Okay, so we get the money if we have better forest management. Everybody then gets food and clothes. What else?
They've not done the necessary work to make sure there's fresh water flowing into key areas.
Oh, water. Yeah, no question. No question. Water for the fire. I'm going to get that message to the firefighters. Toot sweet. Water is so important. Water is a terrific fire. I don't even want to say the R word. But as I always say, what do you got there, mister? A fire? Nothing like water. Water works on all kinds of fire, except for one kind of fire, but I don't know which one that is. But odds are with you. Point taken. But forest management and get some water up here, and then your children may have blankets. These are all great pointers on how to mitigate fires, and I'm sure California has absolutely been trying water and forest management. Maybe not good enough, but they have it. There's one thing you might not be considering as you criticize them, and that's this. I don't know what kind of a system you can develop that completely mitigates the risk of fire, plus drought conditions, plus 60 to 80 mile per hour winds, plus delicious wood. Look at this. Look what's happening right there. Do you see this? Fire to tornado. Rake your way out of that.
Oh my God, this guy's a national treasure. This guy's a national treasure. And by the way, we haven't even gotten to the core of it, right? This is the part that the right will avoid like the plague, but it is undeniably at the core of this. Climate change. Climate change. I saw Joe Rogan, of course, he comes out. What does he do? Blames homeless people, right? Talks about them and, oh, they're setting their fires, and that's why we ended up in this position. Is it the fault of homeless people that we are in the middle of what's supposed to be the wet season in California, and everything is bone dry, bitch? Is that the fault of the homeless people? Is it the fault of the homeless people that a single ember, you can just be having a fucking barbecue in your backyard and a single ember can fly over a mile, land in some brush, and it is a wrap? But nobody wants to have that conversation because we're the fucking frog in boiling water, and people don't think big anymore. They don't think objectively. If you think objectively, you'll find out very quickly, oh, would you look at that? Because of climate change, you have more extreme weather events on both ends of the spectrum. And oh my God, isn't that crazy? A year or two ago, California fucking flooded. LA fucking flooded. They got like a biblical amount of rain. And then now, they're as dry can be in the middle of the wet season. It's almost like the things that the scientists have been saying all along were 100% correct. Except if anything, they undersold how bad it would be. Because every time you read about it, every time a new study comes out, they go, actually, this is worse than what we thought the worst case scenario would be. We just crossed the Paris climate threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius warming. We just passed it. We are 2 decades early. 2 decades early in passing it. It turns out, when you pump the atmosphere full of gargantuan amounts of carbon dioxide and the greenhouse gas effect happens, guess what? It sort of screws us all, doesn't it? And we have the ability to get off fossil fuels. We have the ability to get off oil and gas, and we haven't done it. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because fucking ExxonMobil and Chevron and BP and the oil companies and the fucking petro states that are out there, maybe they have a little bit too much power and control under global capitalism. Maybe the lobbyists have bought our government. Now the government represents them and doesn't represent the people. So we all casually whistle Dixie as the fucking penguins catch fire. Climate change is at the heart of this. It's at the fucking heart of this. And now, nobody's even fucking talking about it. Nobody's even talking about it. How much more of a slap across the face do you need to wake up to this reality? The wildfires have gotten bigger. They last longer. They're more intense. The dry seasons are worse. Like I said, you have extreme weather events on every end of the spectrum. What more do you need? The wars over water are going to be here any fucking minute now. How would you like permanent Dust Bowl-like conditions? How when the growing season gets all fucked up because of just how much we torched the climate? And what's going to happen? You know what the right's going to do? In the midst of all of this, what I just described, I think it's the fault of DEI. I blame lesbians. I blame black people in positions of power. I'm not kidding. The right was literally saying this. They were talking about how, there's like some lesbian woman who's the head of the fire department in LA, and they're like, aha, that's why this happened. Are you mental? By the way, I looked it up. You ready for this? What percentage of the LA fire department are women? 3.5%. Even on their own terms, their arguments fall apart. Even if you take it at face value, which you fucking never should, their arguments fall apart. This has nothing to do with any of the bullshit that they want to point to. Everything's a lie or an excuse or some nonsense, a deflection, an obfuscation, everything. They'll never bring up climate change, which is the reality of the situation. They'll never give real solutions, and they don't give a fuck to even help when the disaster hits and it's time for disaster aid. Loathsome cretins. You got 4 fucking years of this coming up. 4 years of them spitting in your eye relentlessly. Is this what you wanted, America? I don't think you wanted this. I think people wanted change. Well, they're going to get change, but it's not the kind of change they were hoping for. It's the bad change.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.